love to fly up in the sky. Through the clouds I reach so high, climbing up to touch the light. Adventure calls me day and night. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. The stars above begin to shine, painting trails so bright and fine. Every turn brings something new, endless skies in brilliant blue. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the drum's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light.
Hello, beautiful people. How is everybody? Today we're making one of my favorite flights in Microsoft Flight Simulator, well, in aviation world, virtual aviation world, and also in real life. Lisbon to Madeira brings back some very good memories, and it is a wonderful destination to go through in real life and in a simulation. So today we're taking the world famous retro tab, Charlie Sierra Tango Juliet Romeo, one of the latest A321s in the Airbus, in the TAP Portugal fleet. So yeah, it's one of my favorite, all-time favorite paint jobs as well. So everything connects. Now let me do something about the overhead text, which doesn't state the flight. Give me a moment to rectify that. Just a second. Hello, Andrew. Oh, everything's going good, I would say. Just let me. So it's TAP 3342. For some reason it didn't load correctly. Now it should be all right. Let's see. Just give me a moment here. Yeah, I saw your message, Mirsha. I've already edited it. Yes. If you're watching, I am. Initially, it was Boeing 777, but it's since been corrected. All right. Sorry about that. Here we go. Now, you may not like. Oh, what's going on? You may not like the Airbus aircraft, and I respect that. I mean, you don't have to like everything everybody else does, but I mean, this plane it's just brilliant. Look at this. This paint job, I mean, it's just brilliant. This has been done by my great friend Marvin for FS Labs. He's actually a repainter in FS Labs, and there's some things missing. The emergency door lettering is missing. He knows. it's supposed to be in English and Portuguese. It's something that is already corrected, but since FS Labs is so busy right now with the Pratt& and Whitney variant, they've not updated delivery yet. But yeah, I've given him lots of references, and he's gonna update it very soon. But here it is, famous TAP Portugal retro jet. Beautiful. For those that don't know, this paint job used to be also on an Airbus A330 before it was phased out, and after this particular aircraft joined the fleet, it became the retro TAP. And it's just a brilliant airplane, to be honest. There are some inaccuracies in this paint, not really because of the paint job itself, but because the model has some inaccuracies. One of those is the rear door. It's a bit too narrow, too tall, and that's why this gray zone is entering that area. It's not supposed to. Anyway, we're going to start with, oh, look at my shadow. I'm a tall guy. We're going to start with our regular walk around. Yes, thank you, Mercia, for your warning. When you sent the message, I was already editing, but thank you anyway. So let's start. We mostly are going to look around for any leaks, any wear and tear on the tires as well. So we're just looking around, and also we're going to take a look at the distance of the piston to see if there's a leakage or a shortage of pressure. You will see that the piston is too low. But mostly we're looking for wear and tear. Of course, in the brakes we look in the calipers to see there's also some wear and tear. Same on the other side, we'll go to there in a moment. Over here, there's something funny to look into. So you basically, can you see the star inside? So this is a verification. If this cross, or this cross right here, if it's not with, if you can't see the cross, it means that the fuel tank suffered overpressurization. So everything appears to be okay. This one appears to be a little offset, but not too serious. So it's a funny thing that you need to look out when doing the walk around. Of course, we're looking for hydraulic leaks. We're also going to look into this panel here. This is the infamous APU flap. So when you see me turning on APU, it says flap open. This is the flap where we want to open. Of course, we're going to look at some oil leaks from the exhaust again as well. This is the manifold, the outflow valve actually. So we need to see if it's unobstructed. The cargo doors are all closed. Same drill with looking at the tires, looking at the brake calipers. See if there's any wear and tear. Of course, walking around the engine, I didn't do that on engine number 1, but we're going to check if there are any blade defects, anything that could damage the engine. Same thing on the wing. We're going to check out the press, the fuel tank, see if there's overpressure. That one looks okay. This one also looks okay. So one of the things I don't know exactly where to look at in this A321 NEO is where are the oxygen. Oh, there it is. Found it. Oxygen discharge. So it needs to be green, basically. This is the avionics vent. Pretty cool. And of course, we're going to look into our pitos and see if there's any obstruction, as well as our static vents, which are located right here. They need to be also unobstructed. All right. So it looks good. No fancy stuff. The lights are on because the model isn't loaded yet, so it's just loading funny. It loads the lights before anything else. So I'm just checking if we have traffic. just in case GSX and Beyond ATC didn't load for some reason. So let's get on board. Yeah, so this will happen. Excess GPU memory. It only happens on the FS Labs for some reason. On a low-end computer, I would accept that maybe there's an issue, but this is not really a low-end computer. I mean, it's not a high-end, it's not top-end, but it's not that low-end either. So we're gonna begin with our memory items. I've been reading some documentation I was offered about some company's SOP, standard operating procedures, and let me tell you, there's a lot more to it than, number one, there's a lot more to it than what you can simulate here, and number two, there's a lot more to it that I don't think you guys would be interested in seeing. But cockpit preparation, everything surrounding preparing the aircraft, there's a lot more to it than the stuff I do. So before you say anything, this is not supposed to depict real life operations. This is just us flying as buddies as we are. Me, you, Andrew, Mirsha, all these guys, fine people that come to my channel. You guys know I make mistakes, but I correct them, and maybe you make the same mistakes and you can also correct them. So it's win-win, I think. So that's our flight. So today we got TAP Portugal 3342 flight from Lisbon to Madeira. Kind of routine flight for me, but still challenging every time. Winds in Madeira are very unpredictable. We just requested initiation or initialization, and it's been received. So this would be more or less an hour flight, maybe less, maybe more, depends on traffic, depends on deviations, depends on weather even. We are going to be alternating to I think we need to check the OFP, but we are going to fly direct today to Madeira via Holbod's 1 X-ray, so it's going to be a right-hand turn after takeoff, and then we're going to make a Raccoon 1 Papa. I mean, this is so standard, runway 05. Even if there's strong winds, most likely you'll go through Raccoon, and it's one of those approaches because there's only one point of entry coming from main Europe to Madeira, and it's fine. It doesn't need to be more, but sometimes what happens is this, with only one runway and one entry point, you're going to have some holdings sometimes because of weather, because of someone messed up, and so yeah. But it's almost all the time it's this entry point via Raccoon, almost every time. So let's continue our initialization. So what we're going to request now is our refuel. As you know, I try to skip refueling via GSX, so we're just going to look up here, see when the refueling is done. There it is, 7,300 kilograms. It's our fuel for trip. So we got a trip fuel, then we got the alternate fuel. So it's going to be like 3,500 most likely, and then we'll have some extra fuel for taxi and also for our alternate if needed. So let's go back to the menu and let's start boarding the crowd. So we are expecting 2,300 kilograms of cargo. We are expecting something like, let's see here, it's more accurate to look through here. Alright, something. Alright, never mind, we'll get to that in a moment. I was trying to give you the passenger, but we need to sum these numbers, that's all. I don't feel like it, that's why. So we got 100% water on board. The catering has been performed, but you know, you can also press this button and the catering trucks will come. We're not going to need that for now. So board now. This is going to request GSX to connect the jetway, and boarding requested.
Boarding requested.
There it goes. This at least works well. Some other stuff, not so much. And in some planes, not at all. Let's see if GSX now lines up with the door. As you saw in the previous live streams, GSX had some trouble finding the correct position for the door. Not all add-ons, but sometimes it did. Looks good. Previously, in other iterations for GSX, it would always connect a rear door here. Don't know exactly what the purpose was if you got a jetway. So they since removed it, because I remember there was an option in the menu and it's not there anymore. So they probably just figured out it was pointless to just connect a rear stair if you had a jetway already connected. All right, so let's listen to our regular Aegis. I'm going to bring the Beyond ATC window for your viewing pleasure. So we are listening to Aegis. What is Aegis? So Aegis stands for Automated Terminal Information Service. This is a pre-recorded message. Most likely it's done by AI these days. It just gives you basic information of the airport in terms of temperature, weather, runway running activity, any notable NOTAMs, stuff like that.
Transition level 040. Advise on initial contact you have information Yankee.
We got Yankee. Let's read again. It's cycled, so that's why it's recorded.
Lisbon Airport information Yankee. 1810 Zulu. Wind 325 at 15.
Starting.
Visibility 10 miles or more. Few clouds at 2,200. Temperature 22. 2.16. QNH 1020.
1020.
Runway 02.
We got runway 02.
Advise on initial contact you have information Yankee. Lisbon Airport information.
So let's go back to clearance 118.955. So right now, what usually happens is, oh, sorry about this. What usually happens is we request, if we are flying a Phoenix aircraft, we would request a CPDLC. Last time we tried that on the A350. Oh.
Please place your large bags into the overhead locker, wheels first, and keep your small items under the seat in front of you.
That's more like it. Previous we've done on the A350 didn't go so well. On this plane, unfortunately, they don't have Beyond ATC as a source for data links, so we can't really do that right now. So we'll just request via voice. And you'd be surprised in how many airports you still do voice clearance. So it's not that far-fetched. So Lisbon Funchal, we got a departure at 18:30. I think we're going to miss that as usual because we're still 5 minutes. We have 6 minutes to depart. It's not going to happen. So preliminary load sheet. Here's where our weights will come, and we'll confirm that. So we got 150 passengers. That's the number I was looking for previously. And so we got zero fuel weights at 64.6. Takeoff weight 71.7. And we got a zero fuel weight of 22.6. This is a preliminary. We'll confirm it. As you know, FSL simulates passengers that are no-show. So 150 might be 142 or something like that. It does happen. Same with the cargo. It's never exactly the cargo you pre-selected in Simbrief. It might go a bit more, a bit less. It's cool to be, you know, on your toes and be prepared for something different. But that's about it. All right, so let's request clearance to Madeira.
Air Portugal 3342, IFR to Madeira.
This is Betsy talking.
Air Portugal 3342, Lisboa delivery. Expect
Lisboa.
to Obod 1 X-ray departure. Squawk 3016.
Nice.
Obod 1 X-ray departure.
Squawk 3016. Air Portugal 3342.
So let's set this to auto, TIRA.
Air Portugal 3342. Readback correct. Contact ground
So we're going to depart from 02.
for push or start.
We all bought
Ground 121.755. When ready for pushback or engine start. Air Portugal 3342.
all
Bye
bought
bye.
one X-ray, right? Yeah, that's right. Always be mindful that you may not get what you previously had on your OFP. So you might go to Simbrief and prepare everything, but sometimes you may not get exactly that departure that you wanted or you're briefed about. In this case, most of the times we get it from Lisbon as well as Madeira, but it could change. And if weather changes in Madeira, be sure to expect runway 23 and not 05, for example. So we're going to go for RNAV
Ramp 205 taxi via uniform 5 uniform 4 uniform 3
Zulu. There it is. There it was. There it is. Runway RNAV Zulu via Raccoon.
205 via uniform 5, uniform 4, uniform 3 Tango. Mike
One
2,
Papa.
Mike 3,
One of the cargo doors has been closed.
with Malta 493.
We got via Pilim every single time, so we'll confirm this mid-flight, but this is it, most likely. So let's continue on prepping. One of the cargo doors has been closed.
Please place your large bags into the overhead locker.
You can barely hear it on your side, but I can hear very well. You hear a bump.
Include laptops,
Welcome back, Mirsha.
and loose items of clothing. Once you have safely stowed your cabin bag, please
And once more, resource use exceeds GPU. It's probably something with the way FS Labs optimizes this plane. I'm not sure. It's the only plane I get this warning, to be honest. And I've optimized my flight simulator quite a lot. So even though this is frequent, it's just this plane that has this usual warning. So we're still listening to passengers coming in. And you can see their shadow going through, but we can take a look outside. They're still coming. See them cross there. You can see the little heads pop out, which is a bug. Look at that. They go fine on this stairwell here. They go fine on this stairwell, but then when they come here, they like jump or something. Look at that. The lady is floating midair. I think she's the last passenger. Cargo doors have been closed, as you can see, like I had said before. So yeah, I'm going to turn on my track IR a little later in the flight. Just waiting for the last passengers to jump in. Crazy story the other day. The first A321 XLR, which is an extended long-range version of the 321. The very first was delivered to Wizz Air. Had a tail strike the other day. So this is the first documented accident. There we go. Passengers loaded. This is the ping we just heard. Thank you. Don't know if you heard, but the purser was mentioning the boarding was complete. Oh, there's a toilet light here. Sometimes, no, not all modules have that. All right, so we're fully ready, and what we're going to do now is start our APU. Fully ready to depart the gate, that's what I mean. So the infamous flap, that's the one we saw outside. This is the one. There it is, flap open. Now we start our APU. Just wait for this pulling up. It's literally a smaller jet engine that you have on the back. Let's run the checklists. So gear pins and covers had been removed. Fuel quantity, we got 7,300 kilograms on board. Seatbelts are going to be on in a moment. There they are. My bad. And we got our emergency lights armed. We got 8 ears and nav and barrel references 1020 and cross check. So cockpit preparation complete. So just waiting for the APU to become available. And we're going to call the ground crew to clear us out. Available. Here we go. So we're going to bleed air into the system. There it is, pack 1. Pack 2 will come alive in a second. There it is. Alright, so everything's prepped. Let's just gonna call ground crew, get us out of here. So this is how we do it. In the beginning I wasn't doing this correctly, now I am. So we got departure. We are going to request pushback. And now we are going to wait for the ATC to give us that clearance.
At gate 126, request pushback.
Air Portugal 3342, Lisbon ground. Pushback and engine start approved. Face north.
So face north, we're going to face our nose to the left,
And engine start approved.
tail to the
Face
right.
north. Air Portugal 3342.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Hello, there's our little lady down there. Alright, so let's turn on the beacon and also the wing light. Just gonna wait for the call in to start our engines as well as
Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted.
bypass pin inserted.
68 Delta Kilo.
Bypass pin is literally just a pin and it's inserted on a front landing gear to disable your steering so that the steering is performed by the tug and not the pilots. It's just a safety pin.
116 via uniform 5, uniform,
Locking
uniform 4,
gear.
uniform 3, Tango, Yankee, Alpha, Alpha 2, Alpine 68 Delta Kilo.
Some people have requested to watch the pushback, so if this is a thing for you, I'll place the camera in the exterior. Oh, I completely forgot about performance. Oh, yeah, there it is. Uplink takeoff data. Invalid. Oh, sorry about that. Takeoff. So we're going to depart runway 02 full length. And AC2 on, calculate. There it is. So now we can upload it. Fine and dandy. And let's go to initial reference, request the wind, go back, page 2. Let's go for the 0 fuel weight. It's my bad, this should have been done earlier. So we got 146E. It's minus 4 passengers. So we got cargo is, yeah, more or less 2,300, just 20 kilos more. All right, so we got 64.3. And our CG will be
Air Portugal 1906.
23.
Taxi via uniform 5, uniform, uniform 4, uniform 3, uniform 2,
Our
uniform 1, Lima 1.
block fuel is 7.3.
Ramp 414 via uniform 5, uniform, uniform 4,
And
uniform 3,
blam!
uniform 1.
We got everything set up.
Air Portugal 1906.
So let's release parking brakes. Nope, not yet. It's probably because it's on hold. We'll just...
Air Azores 127, Lisbon ground. Hold position for traffic.
position, Air Acers 127.
Go. Come on. What's the big old deal? Push now. Yeah, go. Why aren't we being pushed? Yeah, this is the issue with GSX. Yes. I already told you, nose to the left, tail to the right.
Release parking brakes, please.
Parking brakes
Commencing
release.
push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Starting number 1. No. It's my bad. Throttle wasn't idle, that's why it was warning me. Beautiful Azores Dream livery. Dream liver, that's also cool, I suppose. Oh, you wanted to see outside, sorry. So here we go, pushing back from the outside view.
France delay 84 Bravo Papa, Lisbon ground, pushback approved. Face west.
Pushback approved. Face west. France delay
Don't mind the nose gear animation, it's not really good.
Oxygen masks, life jackets, and brace position.
Well, let's start number 2. Number 1 seems to be fine and dandy.
Portugal 442. At gate 117. Request pushback.
Please set parking brakes.
Parking brakes have been set.
Waiting for confirmation for good engine start.
Ramp 200 taxi via uniform 5, uniform, uniform 4, uniform 3, uniform 2, uniform 1, Lima 1, Lima, Lima 2, Mike 4, Zulu 1, Zulu, Zulu 2.
Got the 2 wing walkers on each side. The LEAP engines take a bit longer than the CFM engines to turn on. This is by design, because they need to motor before they really start up. Alright, number 2 available. We can turn off our APU bleed.
Alpine 41 Bravo Quebec, Lisbon ground, pushback approved. Face west.
Alright, let's request taxi for the active.
Engine start approved. Face west. Alpine for 1 Bravo Quebec.
Lisbon ground. What's our call sign? 3342, I believe.
France delay 84 Bravo Papa, runway 02 taxi via Zulu 2, November 3 Delta, November 2.
This is why Betsy handles the comms. 3342, yes. I don't need a chart. Know this airport like the back of my hand.
Lisbon ground Air Portugal 3342, go ahead.
Ground Air Portugal 3342, request taxi to the active.
Ryanair 15 Uniform Yankee at ramp 203. Request pushback and engine start.
Air Portugal 3342, runway 02 taxi via Alpha 3, Golf 1, Golf, Golf 2, Uniform 1, Mike 5.
Alright, Betsy, you answer that.
Runway 02 via Alpha 3, Golf 1, Golf, Golf 2, Uniform 1, Mike 5, Air Portugal 3342.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
France delay 84 Bravo Papa, contact Lisbon Tower 118.105.
Contact Tower 118.105. France delay 84 Bravo Papa.
So the tug is disconnecting.
Ryanair
Can take a
15
look at that
Uniform Yankee,
outside.
ground, pushback
There's a safety pin right there, you can see it. Now the tug will come back. There it goes. Now she removes the safety pin. And she's going to show us the pin. The wing walkers will move away. She's going to show us the pin just to guarantee it's in her hand and not in the gear. There she is, pin on her hand, and now she waves us goodbye. Bye. So everything's ready. We turn on our taxi lights and we just move forward. There we go. So let's prep our plane here. Set flaps to.
Ryanair 15 Uniform Yankee, request taxi.
Cabin's still not ready.
Runway 02 taxi via Zulu 1, Mike 4 Delta, November 2.
Runway 02 via Zulu 1, Mike 4 Delta, November 2, Ryanair 15 Uniform Yankee.
Cabin's ready, so we're pressing takeoff config. How pitch trim? We need to set the pitch trim. So our pitch is going to be 2.2.
At ramp 413, request pushback and engine start.
Air Portugal 442, hold position for traffic.
Hold position for traffic, Portugal 442.
Almost there.
Air Portugal 442, continue taxi.
Continue taxi, Portugal 442.
Alright, 2.2 up. Let's do the before start checklist. After start checklist, NTI is not required. ECAM status checked. Normal. Windows are both closed. Red band. Red band.
Contact tower 118.1.
Beacon is on.
Ryanair 15 Uniform Yankee.
So ECAM status pitch trim set to 2.2 and rudder trim set to neutral. After start checklist
Contact tower 118.105.
completed.
442. Bye-bye.
Taxi checklist. Let's check the flight controls. Let me just make this turn here.
Face south.
Pushback approved. Face down. Air Portugal 93 Lima Papa.
Alright. So here we go.
Air ASOS 127.
Full deflection left. Neutral. Full deflection right. Neutral. Full pitch up. Neutral. Full pitch down. Neutral. Full rudder left. Neutral. Full rudder right. Neutral. Flight controls have been checked. Flap settings set. Flap 2 and confirmed. Radar and weather prediction
Request pushback and engine start.
is turned on. Engine mode selector to normal. ECAM status no blue. Taxi checklist complete.
Engine start approved. Face southwest. Posting 8166 heavy.
Air Portugal 3342, contact Lisbon Tower 118.105. Bye-bye.
Over to tower 118.105. Air Portugal 3.
So we got Mike 5, so it's the other one.
Alpine 41 Bravo Quebec. Contact Lisbon departure 119.105. Contact contact Lisbon departure 119.105 Alpine for 1 Bravo, Quebec. Ryanair 15 Uniform Yankee, Lisbon Tower, wind 325 at 16 runway 02, cleared for takeoff, traffic 6 mile final, keep it rolling.
Indeed, there's traffic incoming.
Cleared for takeoff.
Let me sit better here. Alright. Lisbon Tower, Air Portugal 3314, ready for departure, Mike 5, runway 02.
Lisbon Tower, voiling 2 Delta Tango, ILS runway 02. Fueling 2 Delta Tango, Lisbon Tower, continue.
I don't think we're gonna take off
Wilco, voiling 2 Delta Tango.
anytime soon.
Air Portugal 3342, hold short of 02, arriving traffic.
Affirm. Hold short of 02. Air Portugal 3342.
So there's Jose from Airport Wings, right there.
Portugal 1337, wind 325 at 16 runway 02, clear to land.
Here's an Air Portugal.
Runway 02 clear to land. Air Portugal 1337.
So this is the image we most of the times we see on Airport Wings.
Yankee, contact Lisbon departure 11.
It's gonna be a fun thing to do. Let's see if I can make the same perspective.
105, Ryanair 15 Uniform Yankee.
Right here. So this is where Jose usually stays. How about that? This is where the infamous Multipla is parked. And look at this. Does this look familiar to you guys? How about that? This fence, of course, is not like this anymore, but it's pretty cool to see. And that's where Philippe also hangs around sometimes. So Jose needs to make
Air Portugal
this work
1337, exit right at
by
Uniform
zooming in
5.
quite a bit.
Exit right at Uniform 5, Air Portugal 1337.
It's cool to see these things, right? Not every day we get a chance to see it from this side. So we're still waiting for our clearance. Oh, too far. Tailplane incoming. There's this Air Portugal here that I believe will take off before we do. Busy Lisbon Airport.
Fueling 2 Delta Tango, wind 325 at 16, runway 02, clear to land. Runway 02 clear to land, voiling 2 Delta Tango.
I'm gonna do a Mickey Mouse wave. Come on. What's going on? Why is it closing? Alright. Mickey Mouse wave. Toodaloo. I don't have the Mickey Mouse glove though.
Air Portugal 442, runway 02, line up and wait.
We need to line up and wait.
Runway 02, line up and wait. Air Portugal 442.
442, it's that guy over there.
Fueling 2 Delta Tango, exit right at Uniform 5. Exit right at Uniform 5, avoiding 2 Delta Tango. Aerosols 127, hold position for traffic. Hold position.
Oh, Andrew. 757 is taxing.
Tower, Europa 17 Sierra Lima, ILS runway
See if I can capture before they give me clearance.
Europa 17 Sierra Lima, Lisbon Tower, continue.
Right there.
Air Portugal 93 Lima Papa, ready to go, runway 02. Fueling 2 Delta Tango, monitor ground 121.755, bye-bye.
Still no clearance for us.
Ground 121.755.
Very realistic for Lisbon. And not.
Air Portugal 442, Lisbon Tower, wind 325 at 16 runway 02, cleared for takeoff.
There he goes.
Runway 02, cleared for takeoff. Air Portugal 442. Air Portugal 3342, runway 02, line up and wait.
All right.
Runway 02, line up and wait. Air Portugal 3342.
Air Portugal 93 Lima Papa, number 1 for departure. Hold short of 02. Affirm, hold short of 02 for traffic. Air Portugal 93 Lima Papa.
Oh, track IR just died. Need to recharge the battery. I'll handle that after takeoff.
Air Portugal 442, contact Lisbon departure 119.105.
Come on, there's a plane coming. Come on. It's giving us 2 minutes after the previous departure. That's the minimum space between departures. But there is a plane incoming, so if we don't take off now, that plane will have to go around. Come on. Come on, boyo. While we wait, if you want to win this plane, I already explained in my previous streams, help me reach 100 subscriptions. Come to the chat, tell me why it should be you winning it, and this FS Labs A321 NEO can be yours for MFS 2020 or 2024. Come on. Did no beyond the... Oh, something must have happened, let me say. Oh yeah, fatal error. Alright, so let's take off and we'll handle this afterwards. Well, I was wondering why it was taking that long. Alright. Sorry about... So beyond ETC just encountered a fatal error. Max manual flex 65 set, SRS, runway. $100. Rotate. Oh, that two V1s, that's not good. Positive rate, gear up. So we're not going to get ATC clearance now because beyond ATC just crashed. I'll try to recover beyond ATC in a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, please keep your seatbelt fastened while the seatbelt sign is on. We recommend that you keep your seatbelt fastened wherever you are seated.
So autopilot engaged. We're gonna go directly to our climb of 25,000 as soon as I can confirm the altitude. So let's clear the plane, clear these lights. Speed check, oops, that's trying to do everything at once. Speed check, flaps up. That's why you need a co-pilot, gentlemen. Altimeters to standard. And I didn't made it put the clock in run. Alright guys, while I'm doing this I need to re-establish connection with Beyond ATC, otherwise we won't be having neither comms or traffic, so bear with me a moment. I've only done this once. Once Beyond ATC crashes, most of the times it can't really reconnect that well. We'll see. This ding dong is Beyond ATC coming alive. Alright, let's try. Fly. Usually you need to do this on the ground, but since we're already flying, if I recall correctly, it's going to ask us to, yeah, to the flight phase. Here we go. So you're not seeing this, but it's asking me, in which flight phase are you? So we're in climb. Press OK. Let's see what happens now. Still at with Lisbon Tower. So let's just wait for it to... Alright, so we got comms back. We're still with Lisbon Tower. I think we should have been already with Lisbon departure. So let's just radio check. No, Lisbon Tower, Air Portugal 3342, climbing Angels, flight level 100. Passing 10,000 feet.
Lisbon Tower, Air Portugal 3342, climbing to flight level 100, acknowledged.
So let me go to my next station, perhaps. Please. Yeah. Hopefully this. So 370. Let's just climb to the cleared altitude by the. Should be 370, not 380. 370, here we go. We could also change to Lisbon approach. Right, Lisbon center. And just announce ourselves.
Lisbon Center, Air Portugal 3342. Good evening, flight level 129er.
Air Portugal 3342, reset transponder.
New transponder code.
2530.
Squawk 2530, Air Portugal 3342.
Pretty standard if you just lost connection to Beyond ATC.
Air Portugal 3342, Lisbon Center, identified, climb to flight level 180.
180.
Climb to flight level 180, Air Portugal 3342.
So yeah, if you lose connection with Beyond ATC, you can recover it, but you will need like to start over, so to speak. So as you saw, now it gives us 370. As you saw, it initially made us contact the tower, which wasn't correct at the phase of flight we were. We waited a little bit to see if it automatically shift us to center. It did not, so we did it manually. And then when we announced ourselves, it's like we're a new aircraft entering the zone, even though we previously were loading the flight. That's because the previous instance, the previous session was lost, and so was that squawk code. So it gives us a new squawk code. It's pretty standard. A bit confusing for those that aren't familiar with this, but yeah, it had happened to me before. And whenever you lose connection with Beyond ATC, you have to accept that you will be a new flight, period. Beautiful golden now. Let's take a look outside. It's always beautiful to see this livery. Look at that. Perhaps the most beautiful livery ever for TAP Portugal on a plane. It's incredible. A lot of people don't like retro liveries for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, it kind of reminds us of the early days, you know, the golden age of aviation, if you want, when things would be a lot simpler and a lot fashionable. Flying was luxury. It kind of is still, but I mean, this paint job looks amazing. I also like the British Airways A319 from British European Airways, BEA. It's beautiful. I also have the Scandinavian A320 Retro and the Lufthansa, which no longer flies, unfortunately, the Lufthansa A321 CEO Retro livery. There are other beautiful liveries like the American Airlines Retro, the Air Transat. It's not pretty, but it's cool. It's not really pretty. The colors they picked, this bright green, almost lime. It's not that brilliant, but it's a retro, and you can accept it. You know, back in the day, people had different tastes, and it looks cool. It's not the best looking livery, in my opinion, but to be honest, I
Portugal 835, contact Lisbon arrival 125.13.
Is that us? 2345? Yes. Oh, 835, sorry. So not us.
Europa 45 Victor Papa, contact Porto information approach 118.855.
So, like I said earlier, this is the FS Labs A321 NEO. If you guys are interested in this aircraft and would like to fly it, I have a key that I can give away. All you need to do is help me reach 100 subs. Currently, I believe we are at 68. Oops, there goes my track IR is alive again. I believe we have 68 subs. And if you guys want this particular aircraft with this paint job, I mean, this paint job is available on the FS Labs launcher. You can get it and fly just like me. That's Cap Special. That's Lisbon where we departed. That's Cascais Bay, Sintra. This is the beautiful coast of Caparica, and further down there's also Comporta. Beautiful vacation destinations.
Ryanair 609 Charlie, contact Porto information approach 118.855.
Contact Porto information approach 118.855, Ryanair 609 Charlie.
Beautiful sunset.
Alpine 84 Bravo Alpha, contact Lisbon arrival 125.13.
So we are cleared to 370.
Lisbon arrival 125.13. Alpine 84 Bravo Alpha.
This is a beautiful plane at night. I mean, every plane is beautiful when we got it all light up like a Christmas tree. I don't care about Christmas, but I do like the lights of the Christmas tree. I sound like Mariah Carey, didn't I? I don't care about the Christmas. or whatever that song was. Alright, let's go to our infamous Navigraph that's always bugged. So if we press here, we should see the flight plan, but we see only a blank window, so we just reset the FB, press any digit here, and now we should have the Navigraph charts back. There it is.
Postman 8213 heavy. Contact Madrid Center 118.275. Bye-bye.
So this is where we departed. We make a right-hand turn, go directly to Cap Shell, where we were just passing by earlier, and now we're flying direct to these two waypoints all the way down to Madeira, which is down there. In Madeira, we will have this very infamous approach. So this will be a this will be a RNAV approach to runway 05, pretty standard. So there are some minimum we need to take into account. So we'll come out of Pilim, make a short left-hand turn in order to make this angled approach. Then we start descending. This point right here is called Gilles. That's our visual reference point where we fly into it, and then we'll make a visual to runway 05 as usual. If everything goes as predicted, it should be a very quick and pleasant flight. It's a great thing we got beyond ATC back, otherwise this would be a very lonely and boring flight, and no one would be there on the airport when we arrived. As you can see, the weather is mild. There's a short, I don't know if you guys can perceive it, but there's like a little cloud layer, this white, and I mean the ocean's reflecting the whiteness of the sky, but there is a short, like, foggy layer. Then there's these scattered clouds over here. So after Madeira, I would like some suggestions. Where should I go after Madeira?
Contact Lisbon arrival 125.13. Portugalia for 73.
Is this thing on or auto? It's auto. Yeah, it's auto. Mirsha, Andrew, what's my next destination? I'm open to suggestions. If you're still there, of course. We are at 30,000 feet. If you remember the last stream we flew on a 777, you saw how fast that thing climbs. Compared to it, these planes all feel like meek, small, and sluggish. But that plane, especially when it's empty, it flies like a rocket. But this has been a signature for Boeing, I suppose. Boeing aircraft is always operated like sports cars, right? So they fly a little faster, they're quirkier, they turn a little better. But Airbus is all about efficiency. So even though we don't really make U-turns pulling the e-brake on these planes, sometimes we lack some performance, but in that regard, the Airbuses can be a bit tight-lipped, I would say. They don't really like people going beyond the limitations. I mean, no airplane likes that. But like I said, when I flew the 737, it was perfectly alright to go beyond the limits once in a while. The plane is like developed to take that on, but not the Airbus. I mean, you can go to direct law and go beyond all the envelope protections, but that's not the point of flying an Airbus at all. And that's why we got these cost indexes that are limited to company SOPs. You also have the same on the 737s, but the thing is, you fly the plane more on the fingers. You know, you fly the plane with a feeling. You pick up the yoke and the throttle, and you operate by feeling. Not on Airbus. There's no such thing as flying with feeling. I mean, I bet in a real life cockpit you can feel the aircraft, but I'm not talking about that kind of feeling. We're talking about the feedback the plane gives you in terms of the instrument, of the flight controls, the throttle. You have nothing giving you feedback. Especially right now, if you look at my levers, they're standing still. The thrust levers. If you look at my sight stick, it's also, I mean, we're not turning right now, but even when it turns, you will not see it move. The pedals is the same on any aircraft, doesn't give you feedback. But if you want to see what the plane's doing, you have to look here on the upper ACOM. You see that green line right there? This is where your thrust is currently at 92%. So you got climb thrust at 92.1%, and this is exactly how the engines are responding to it. So it's a visual cue which doesn't give you really the position on the lever, so you don't know if the plane's accelerating or decelerating. You just need to pay attention to this little line. In modern planes, modern Airbuses, they added like these blue concentrical lines. It helps. It gives you an extra feedback, and it's clearer for you. But at the same time, I kind of wanted to see where the thrust levers were, so that I can deny it. If I feel it's accelerating too much, I can just pull it back a little. There's no such thing here because there's no auto throttle. There's only auto thrust. And why is it called thrust? Because you're not controlling directly the throttle. You can connect to the normal throttle between this point here and this point here, between 0 and CL, which stands for climb. So this is the climb detent where we're at right now. This is the flex MCT, and this is the toga, so takeoff, go around. This is basically the flex MCT is the takeoff thrust, and toga is like the takeoff go around thrust. It's the maximum output the engines can do. You never go to toga unless it's mandatory or unless you need to avoid something. Between climb and 0 you can operate the thrust manually, but you will not have feedback from the autopilot. Once you go into climb or flex MCT or toga, you're giving control of the thrust to the computers. And that's something you need to learn to cope with after spending most of your virtual pilot life flying Boeing like I did. And thanks to PMDG, actually, I flew the planes that I loved the most back in the day. I love the 737. PMDG made one. I love the, let me just level my eyesight. Alright, much better. Alright, and now pause. I love the 737. PMDG had it. I love the 747 and still do. PMDG had it. Not anymore, but they are planning to bring the 747 to flight simulators, so in the future I might be able to fly it again. And of course the 777, which I flew in the last stream. All these planes were supplied by PMDG. That also supplied the MD-11 back in the day. Another plane I loved to fly from PMDG that's no longer available. Not from PMDG, that is. And they also developed like the Beechcraft 1900, a very small but agile and very cool plane to fly. They developed the DC-6, which you already have it on Microsoft Flight Simulator. I think they will develop another plane, I'm not recalling, but yeah, PMDG pretty much made all the planes that I loved back in the day. I was a big Boeing fan, by the way, and I still consider myself a Boeing enthusiast, but not a fan anymore because of the recent issues. I kind of fall out of grace for a lot of people, and to me, Boeing just lost a seat. Why? Well, I started flying Airbus on a regular basis. The first impact I had from Airbuses was not that good. I felt like the plane was too automated. It took me from control a lot of times. But honestly, after flying it for a while, I kind of I kind of thought, yeah, that makes sense. A lot of these things are engineered to be as they are, and it makes sense they're engineered like that. It makes sense not to take power from the pilot, but to deny the possibility of user error. Of course, it's not perfect, and as you know, Boeing aircraft do fall from the sky sometimes, unfortunately, but it doesn't mean it's if the planes are controlled correctly, if the planes are flown as they've been designed, most likely you will not have like a fatal accident. It's when pilots do make mistakes, and that happens a lot. It's when weather doesn't behave, quote unquote. It's when ATC doesn't cooperate either, or something like that. That's when the Swiss cheese, the Swiss cheese theory, when you line the Swiss cheese uh, um, slices, if you get a hole that coincides with the next slice, and if you have enough holes that coincide, you'll have a problem passing through. So the Swiss cheese model is actually used to explain how pilot and aircraft accidents occur. But the Swiss cheese needs to have a lot more slices on the Airbus than what it needs for a Boeing aircraft. It doesn't mean the Boeing aren't safe. It just means that Boeing relies a lot more on the pilots, whereas Airbus relies a lot more on the computer. And if you take a look at the statistics, you will figure out that computers fail a little less than human beings. Except AI. AI fails a lot, but that's a different story. Speaking of AI, I read an article, I believe last week, if I'm not mistaken, either last week or 2 weeks ago, an article where some companies, some developing companies, software developing companies, not Boeing, not Airbus, but some developing companies that develop the software that goes inside these CDU units and the logics on the computers and all that, they're thinking about bringing AI to aviation. So like problem solving AI, like instead of relying on the pilots to know what they need to be doing to solve a specific problem, have AI do that for them. In all honesty, this is kind of a hard argument. Um, when I say argument, I mean conversation. It's kind of a hard conversation to have, because AI can do some very wonderful and magnificent things, but it can also do some nasty things. And I'm not talking about just how fake pictures can come about. I'm actually talking about how AI can make mistakes, like gross mistakes, because it just reads around. Make no mistake, the source for AI is the internet. And there's a lot of knowledge there, but there's also some fake knowledge, and there are some very, very fake articles out there. And I think AI just looks into what's real and what's available, and then tries to mix it in, and it doesn't really realize that something could be wrong. It just states that, well, it's there, it must be true. It's like that. It's like that joke we make sometimes. It's if it's on the internet, it's true. I think AI takes that quite literally. When it comes to developing AI for industrial applications, like for example on an aircraft, of course, the AI won't just go to the internet. There will be an algorithm program into it that tells them this is the truth. This is like the basis, like the source for all the knowledge you need to get, and now you just develop from there. But even with those kinds of limitations, I've seen AI fail miserably in some items, and you guys can do your tests. You mean try to have a decent a normal conversation that you would have with a normal person with AI. It's impossible because it doesn't think like a human being. So if there's an issue on board and AI can have, I mean, they can run checklists, nice. They can even shut down or turn on systems, nice. But the decisions to make that are all going to be mechanical. That means the plane will think logically, and to the computer, being logical may mean, and this is just me talking like a spook story, but maybe the AI will think that humans are redundant. If there's a problem on board and it needs to solve it, maybe it thinks, well, humans caused this problem, or maybe humans can handle the problem. I'll handle it, and humans become redundant. There's a big danger right there. So we're coming up on our top of descent.
Griffin 75 Hotel, Lisbon Center, radar contact.
Let's go outside and look at this wonderful. We're chasing the sunset basically, so that's why it's still sunsetting. Let's take a. I'm going to take a picture here. Hold on. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Beautiful paint job, beautiful time of the day, beautiful destination as well. You guys are in for a treat. So let's turn on our little floodlights here, just enough to have a glimpse of our instrumentation if need be. It's one cool thing about the FS Labs A321. How cool is that? Really cool. I like it a lot. Even though in order to have this, they removed my beloved Betsy. She's here. I'll prove it to you. I'll show it to you. She is here. Betsy here is here. Can you see the pile silhouette there? Check on the right side, on the left side. There she is. Right there. Betsy, she's here. See if we can see her closer. There she is, with sunglasses and all. She is in the plane, although we can't see her. And she talks. Got some traffic on our left and up. See if we can see it. And also on our right side. Can't really see it. We can see though this glass is dirty. But cool. So we are I think we passed the halfway point, didn't we? Probably not. Let me confirm here. No, probably not. Point of no return should be somewhere over here after the next steer point. And you can see how there's some rain coming into Porto, at least in the coastline. You can see here. Look at that. This is Porto right here. This is some weather approaching. Most of the times this weather will just reach the coastline and dissipate. But sometimes it reaches the shore and it's a nasty storm. So the plane on our left is an Iberia and the one on our right is EasyJet 320. So the Iberia Embraer 195. We also have another A320 on our forward left, and just beyond us there's a TAP Portugal Embraer 190. For some reason, Beyond ATC prefers to call these Embraers from TAP Express Portugalia. Portugalia is the operating company that flies the Embraers, but the company itself is TAP Express, and on the ATC it's called Air Portugal. There's no distinction between TAP Express and TAP Portugal. So you have a slight nose wind, nothing serious, 14 knots. So at this point I'm going to request ATC for Madeira to confirm our weather data. So let's do just that. Oops. Right here. Let's go to the CDU. Sorry. Let's return CDU again. Let's go to the ETSU. AOC. Weather. LPMA selected. Let's do METAR. Just wait for the ATC to respond. There it is, not ATC but ACARS. Alright, so weather. We got 1900 Zulu, we got 0 19 knots, so quite a strong wind. We got KVOC conditions, scattered clouds at 1600 feet. And we got temperature 23 QNH 1021. So let's insert this data into performance. So QNH 1021. We got temperature 23, quite warm. We got wind 020.819er. We're going to land with the full flap configuration. Our decision height for RNAV 05 will decide that, basically expecting Beyond ATC to give us the Zulu approach. If not, there will be different data to insert. So let's go back here, Navigraph. Let's import data. So let's go Madeira. And that approach right there, the RNAV to runway 05, is the Zulu RNAV, which is pretty much a standard one. Let's go to the charts. So you see here, as for the decision height, sorry about that. Where? Oh, there we go. So decision height, it says refer to minimums, and we go here to minimums. And so with the visibility we got right now, we can select the alpha. So it should be 500 feet barometric or 354 decision height. So this is altitude, decision altitude, this is decision height. So we will need to maintain this decision height or this altitude until MA 2552, which is 552 or 522? No, 552, which is, what's going on here? Why is my camera moving? Which is right here. So below this decision altitude, which should happen somewhere around between MA 504 and 502. So between these two here, 504, 502, so somewhere in between we should reach decision height, somewhere over here. When we receive the decision height, if we need to go around, we need to maintain that altitude until MA 552. That's basically what it says. So it's like you can't climb out of there because, well, there are planes approaching, and if you perform a go around, you can't climb on your own because you might interfere with other traffic. So you just need to maintain 500 feet and then carry on to Monac, which is a holding point, to restart our approach. But hopefully we don't need that today. We won't need that today. So yeah, so decision height will set it to 500 feet MSL. This may change, of course, but this is what we're going to insert for now. 500. Here we go. flight plan. We're coming up on the top of descent. We'll start descending in a moment. And in the meantime, I'll be right back.
Portugalia 19 Uniform Tango. Contact Lisbon arrival 125.13.
Contact Lisbon arrival 125.13. Portugalia 19 Uniform Tango.
Lisbon Center, aerosols 152, flight level 360. Aerosols 152, Lisbon Center, radar contact. Chanix 81 Tango Bravo. Contact Madeira Casablanca radar 125.1. Contact Madeira Casablanca radar 125.1 Chanix 81 Tango Bravo. Bye bye.
And I'm back. Anything happened when I was absent? How's the cabin looking? People look satisfied. In the old A320 and 321 cabins, cockpits, there used to be a TV screen over here, just above the jump seat. That's where you could have the security camera. There's a small camera here that would, when someone knocked on the door, you also have a peephole here, but you can press a button. It's what we call here a video button, this one, and this would turn on the TV screen and you could see who's behind the door. Nowadays, they've replaced that. They removed that TV screen, and if you press video, nothing happens here, but on the real plane, you will see on the lower ECAM that same camera. Pretty cool. Things changed a lot after the September 11 incident. That's one of the things they implemented.
Contact Faro approach 119.405, Ryanair for Zulu Foxtrot.
That's not how the city goes. It's not Faro, it's Faro. And there's a reason for that, because Faro comes from the lighthouse Faro, not from whatever English word tries to say. Faro comes from lighthouse in Portuguese, which is farol. So farol minus the L. At least this is what my old Portuguese teacher used to say. She could be wrong.
Center on 125.1. Chanix 4 kilo uniform. Bye bye.
Inter 8 Alpha Quebec. Contact Margaret Casablanca radar 125.1. Inter on 125.1. Inter 8 Alpha Quebec. Have a good evening.
We are approaching our top of descent. As you can see, we're at about 160. Sorry, let me zoom in. Yeah, 160 something miles from our top of descent. So once it passes the 40-mile line, we'll call our passengers back to their seats and begin our descent procedures.
Portugalia 1692, Lisbon Center, expect Isuti 1 Alpha, runway 02.
Expect a City 1 Alpha, runway 02, Portugalia 1692.
Portugalia 1711, Lisbon Center, expect Middle 2 Romeo, runway 05. Expect Nidal 2 Romeo, runway 05. Portugalia 1711.
Not really sure if this Portugalia is going to Madeira. Could be another island.
1711, Middle 2 Romeo, runway 05.
But it's given it a different approach. I believe this neither is not for Madeira, I think. Oh yes, it is. Nidal. Hey, there it is. Ah, it comes from what? Why is it giving this approach? It's such a weird approach, because so neither 2 Alpha is coming from the left. It's even worse than I thought. So this approach is often given to flights coming from the United States, but that's Portugalia, so that's Air Portugal Express, TAP Express, that's definitely an Embraer flying that. Unless it came from the United States, which is, I don't know, maybe it's possible. I don't think those planes have that range. Or it could be coming from, there's nothing there. You can see here. So, Nidal is right there, Nidal. So anything coming to Nidal must come from Abalo. And from Abalo, there's nothing here. For a regional jet, that's a bit far-fetched, unless it comes from, I don't know, maybe from the Baleares, these islands here, Tenerife. Could be coming from La Palma and going direct to Nidal, probably. Could be. Not sure there's a flight from TAP Express from Palma to Madeira, though. In either case, any approach to Madeira comes from this point here, Pilim. Right here, Pilim. And this is a corridor, so you might come from this way, that way, or this way where we're coming from, or even from this point here. But if you're coming from Europe, which most likely that TAP Express came from Lisbon, coming from this point here near Nidal makes no sense. But that's exactly what it gave it here. Nidal to Romeo, which will take you like this, make this approach like this. Doesn't make sense, but that's what ADC gets. Hello again, Andrew. Welcome back. So we're approaching our top of descent. We're at 120 miles from it. There's a plane right there. We're either catching up or it overtake us. Let's see what's the deal here. It's flight level 340. We're probably faster than what it is. So 501 knots. Actually, it's faster than us. It's an A321. No, we're 513. Yeah, we're going to overtake them for sure. I was just looking at the ground speed here, but maybe it's just looking at some different airspeed. So this is one of my favorite approaches for flight simulation and real life. Got great memories of visiting Madeira back in the day. Beautiful place to visit if you're ever interested in having vacations in Portugal. I strongly advise you to go to Madeira. Really amazing. I mean, Portugal has beautiful places. I live in a beautiful place right now. I'm in the nature, but unfortunately, it's not as pretty as Madeira is.
Portugalia 1692, Suti 1 Alpha, runway 02. Report ready for descent.
City 1 Alpha, runway 02, ready for descent. Portugalia 1692.
Portugalia 1692, descend to flight level 250.
Descend to flight level 250. Portugalia 1692.
So guys, if you want to help the channel, sorry for the shameless plug, but you can do so by Buy Me a Coffee platform. On your upper right screen, you got a QR code to do just that. Or if you prefer, you can check my video description below and you can see a link to the same channel. This channel is non-profit. I don't have enough audience to be profitable, so even if that was the case, that's not the point here. The point is not to make money, it's just to get enough cash flow to acquire new add-ons. I already purchased quite a few, so my investment is steep. It's not beyond my capabilities, of course, but if I can have an extra income to justify the next add-on, I would love to. So my goal is to buy the next add-on with your generous contributions. I already have a few contributions in my Buy Me a Coffee page, which I really appreciate, and it's going to help me to acquire my next add-on. So currently I'm aiming at the 737 MAX from Flight 1. I unfortunately can't afford it right now, but it's one of the planes I wanted to have because I believe it's a pretty cool representation of that specific plane. Even though PMDG is developing one, it's just like when you fly Phoenix, you love the Phoenix A320 or the A321, but when FS Labs makes the A321Neo, you gotta get the FS Labs A321 NEO. It's the same thing. You love PMDG, fine, but you gotta have the Flight 1 737 MAX. Even if later on you're gonna get the Phoenix Neo or the PMDG 737 MAX, you know it's still far in the future. Not too far, but a bit far.
Alpine for 1 Bravo Quebec, Lisbon Center, expect Niddle 2 Romeo, runway 05. Expect Niddle 2 Romeo, runway 05, Alpine for 1 Bravo Quebec.
There it is again. It's giving neither to Romeo to an Alpine, which is an EasyJet plane. Again, from that direction, Needle, anything that comes from Needle comes from probably the United States, maybe from Las Palmas, but it's the second time a short-range airline or mid-range airline is given a south approach to 05. Doesn't make sense to me unless there's an issue like a NOTAM, a restriction. We can see the Madeira Island silhouette right there, way over in the distance. Pretty cool. Unless there's a restriction like a NOTAM that forces you to come to through south. But if that was the case, maybe Simbrief wouldn't notice. Yeah, probably. We'll see. It's a bridge we'll cross once we reach it. Like Dr. Ian Malcolm said in Jurassic Park, and in anything that can does happen. So yeah, it's like it's called the law of chaos, you know. Or the chaos theory. That's another word for it. Law of chaos or the chaos theory. Completely pitch black. Beautiful sunset. Pitch black, sunset. Nice. The more you climb, the less radiating light you get. because the air is not as dense as in the ground. So when the sun sets on the ground, it's very rare you get to see pitch black and like sunset colors. But as you climb, as the air becomes thinner, this is more frequent. And it's very pretty. It's one of the things I envy in a good way pilots is this kind of views, you know, this peacefulness, this being so close to space. And if you're a religious person, being so close to God, it's really a thing. It's really amazing. I love to fly as a passenger. I was never able to become a pilot, but as a passenger, I love to fly. And I had the privilege to fly in the cockpit, and let me tell you, there's nothing. I mean, you can see pretty things from the passenger seat looking to the sides, but these windows up front, they really are the main office, and they're really pretty. It's really, really pretty. Don't worry, I'm not gonna get mushy on you. Don't worry. So let's call our passengers back in. We're a bit early, but better early than later, because I tend to forget these things. So we got the weather radar turned on. There's nothing severe up front. We also check the weather forecast. We can do just that now. We're just going to request an 80s for Lisbon. So, sorry, for Madeira, I mean. So we are going to request arrival 80s. Alright, let's see. I think I pressed it twice, so we get twice the same message. Oh, no information available, even worse. Alright, so let's just ask for the 80s, or the METAR, or the forecast. No, let's ask for the METAR for Madeira. There it is, weather. So, wind does not change, 03019er. Temperature 23, QNH 1021. So nothing changed since our last request. Changes do happen over larger periods of time, so like hours between calling meters, I mean, which is not the case. It's been probably less than 30 minutes. So let's just wait for the confirmation on our top of descent so we can begin our descent procedures. Flight will be within the timer. So guys, if you want to fly this beautiful airplane FS Labs A321 NEO, you can read the description, or you can read the description, and you need to help me reach 100 subscriptions, as well as come to this chat and tell me why it should be you winning it, and I'll gladly give away a key for this particular aircraft, the FLIGHTSIM Labs A321 NEO. I've checked in the last month. It's the plane I flew the most. All right. That's exactly what we had. So Rakan 1 Papa. It didn't say, but it's gonna be the Pillen approach. It's not telling me what kind of let's accept it. It's not telling me what kind of approach it is. Certainly not going to be a visual approach, so probably RNAV. But which one?
Contact Madeira approach 119.605. Contact Madeira approach 119.605. Alpine 41 Bravo, Quebec.
So let's call ready for descent.
Air Portugal 3342, approaching our top of descent, ready for lower.
Air Portugal 3342, Bracken 1 Papa, runway 05, descend to 5,000 feet, QNH1021.
Alright, 5,000 it is.
Racken 1 Papa, runway 05, descend to 5,000 feet.
I'll just take a little longer because I don't want to be too below the performance descent and manage the descent.
Portugal 93 Lima Papa, Lisbon Center, expect Needle 2 Romeo, runway 05.
Another airplane for Needle 2 Romeo. Really weird.
Expect Middle 2 Romeo, runway 05, Air Portugal 93 Lima Papa.
Alright, let's start our descent now. So descent boxed.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will shortly be landing. Please ensure your cabin bag is safely stowed with your laptop inside.
There's a plane up ahead. Hopefully we don't interfere with its path, but
And window blinds open.
let's stay on
You now need to be seated with
the lookout.
fastened ready for landing. Please help us by handing in any rubbish.
Can see, barely see Madeira's lights, Madeira Islands, street lights. This plane, FS Labs plane, is VNAV calculations are much better than the Phoenix's one. Phoenix tends to be either too steep or too shallow. This one has a tendency to be slightly shallow on the approach, or the descent, sorry. But I prefer a shallow approach than a very steep descent, because it's harder for you to maintain a steep descent and not over accelerate, so go beyond the acceleration path, than the other way around. If you're a shallow descent, it's easier to keep speed. You actually save speed. But the problem with the Phoenix is that sometimes you go too steep and then it just stops descending for some reason, or just becomes very shallow, and and you reach a certain point, you're too high. That happened to me a lot of times. One of the worst circumstances that happened was on my approach to Innsbruck, which is an airport that you really have to obey to altitudes in order to be on the optimal glide path. And Phoenix just borked my attempt to land at that airport, and I had to do this very weird vectoring using beyond ATC radar vectoring, and it wasn't working at all. Rule of thumb, and if you guys follow me for some time, you already know this. Rule of thumb: never trust beyond ATC radar vectoring. It's just not that good. I mean, it works when it works, but when it borks, it borks really bad. So my appreciation for FS Labs A321 NEO. I wish FS Labs would fix some things that have been ongoing since release. I know they're busy right now with the Pratt & Whitney engines, and I believe there are a lot of airlines that use Pratt & Whitney. It's just as important to have a good Neo or LEAP model, sorry, than it is to have a good Pratt & Whitney model. But there are some outstanding issues with this plane. Not really serious stuff. It's not really giving you trouble flying it. But while they're spending their sweet time coming up with the Pratt & Whitney engines, some items I wish they could have fixed here. They will. I was told recently that they already have uh, some more recent builds that's just not released yet because they're not ready, and they're working very hard to build the Pratt and Whitney so they can close the project as, and I wouldn't say finished, but at least feature complete, and it's not feature complete yet. But to be honest, I honestly wish they fix some of this memory issues. So this panel or this airplane seems to be a little too heavy, and I always get a GPU memory warning.
Air Portugal 93 Lima Papa, Little 2 Romeo, runway 05. Report ready for descent.
But other than that, it's one of those must-have planes. There aren't many companies out there that I would blindly say, yeah, buy it. One of them is, of course, PMDG for their history. They're a good company, although I feel like they've not developed anything actually new. But that will change with the 737 MAX somewhere in the near future. Any builds? Yeah, kind of. I was very disappointed with A350, to be honest. I think the A350 was like, it could have been so great as a module. It now is a good module, but it's not a great module, and it wasn't a great release either. So yeah, any builds, yeah, if you like retro, you like the A300 and the A310, yes, they're good planes. I've not flown them recently, so I can tell the state where they're at right now. As for the 350, well, I would say wait a little longer. If you don't mind waiting, wait a little longer, because it still is a little, there are still some issues with it. Let's just say that. Phoenix, they're great. They're an awesome company. They're kind of prone to the visual stuff. They do tend to lose a lot of time with the visual stuff and the sounds. The sounds are important, but the visual stuff, they kind of go a bit too far, in my humble opinion. And that kind of puts them away from the actual interesting stuff like performance. I still struggle with that plane VNAV performance, and I think a lot of people do too, especially on the approach. Then there's FS Labs. Yes, great airplane. I do not know the other products they had, but they always had the reputation of having great planes. They had an issue a few years ago regarding their installer, which was prying on stuff on your computer that shouldn't. Some people actually accuse the program to be a Trojan horse. I think there's an overreaction there, but you know, people are going to be people. But other than that, yes, FS Labs, any builds, PMDG, Phoenix simulations. If you're talking about Microsoft Flight Simulator, of course. If you're talking about X-Plane, there are some other companies like Toulis or Flight Factor. I used to fly the Flight Factor 757, 767, I believe, and the 777. Their 777 wasn't that good, to be honest, but the 757 was great, and I loved it for X-Plane 12, 11, and 12. I don't think they have anything more than that, to be honest, but Flight Factor was great. You also have Toulis. Toulis, for me, may be a great company, but the last and only time I contacted them, they were very arrogant in their reply, and that put me aside a little bit because I know they're developing the A330neo with Aerosoft. Let's go to Madeira approach.
Contact Madeira approach 119.605. Air Portugal 33.
Let's go to 119.605.
Madeira departure. Air Portugal 3342. Flight level 241 with information Delta.
Don't feel like this is strange to see Madeira departure. The station does the same. So it's a Nav Zulu, all right, or Nav Zulu.
H1021 expect the RNAV Zulu runway 05 with the pin
So like I was saying, don't feel like this is strange, like it's calling Madeira, contact Madeira approach, and then when she calls it, she says Madeira departure. It's the same station. Same station does departure and approach. So it might sound bad because you're not departing, you're approaching, but it's okay. There are several places in the world that have the same station for departure and approach. Same frequency, same station. Even sometimes the same operator can do approach and departure at the same time. Most likely it will. He or she will, sorry. This is Port Saint right up ahead. I'm going to turn off terrain on ND as usual. There it is, Port Saint. Let's zoom in for your viewing pleasure. So this is Port Saint right here at about 25 nautical miles. And then Madeira Island, this is the deserted islands on the left. It's a bit hard to see now, but we'll get to a good closer look. So guys, if you're enjoying this, if you're not a subscriber, now's a good time to subscribe. Remember, there's an FS Labs A321 NEO for the lucky winner that comes here and tells me why it should be them. And as soon as I reach 100 subscriptions, I'll pick one. I already have 3 messages in chat telling me why they should be the winners. I already have like a pre-selected person, but come on, surprise me. There's always room for surprise. Maybe there's someone out there with good imagination. Tell me why it should be you flying the FS Labs A320. Otherwise, just help me reach 100 subs. Everybody wins, I suppose. I can keep on making these live streams and you guys can keep enjoying them. Continue to enjoy them. There's Port Saint over here, over there. Last time I crossed Port Saint, the textures were all wrong because I wasn't using photogrammetry. So live on chat, I was saying, oh, look at this, it looks weird. And someone told me, hey, you probably need to check your texture. It doesn't look like scenery. You need to check your texture options. And there it was. I was not using photogrammetry. So when you're not using photogrammetry on Microsoft Flight Simulator, it just makes up stuff. It tries to resemble the area, like it adds the cities, but then adds this weird texture on the ground. In Port Saint, it was adding like a desert texture. Not at all realistic, because Port Saint is not really a forest, but it's not a desert either. So let's go outside and take a look at, oh, not throttle, I don't know. All right, let's take a look outside now. Let's close this window here. Sorry about the ghosting effect. That's because of NVIDIA DLSS. It creates these ghost effects. It's the only way to fly with decent FPS is to have the DLSS turned on, especially if you have an NVIDIA graphics card like I do. So this is Porto Santo Island. It's kind of like the alternate to Madeira. So if you fly to Madeira, a lot of people come from Madeira to Porto Santo for the beaches on this side. I've heard, maybe it's not true, that the hotels are cheaper as well. So could be a good alternative for your next visit. If you want to go to Madeira, you want to go on the cheap side, maybe Port Saint is a good offer. However, just be mindful, there aren't many direct flights to Port Saint, even though there's a runway right here. And most of the times you have to travel by boat. And if you, for some reason, catch a bad day, bad weather day, it's going to be a ride, let me tell you. I've not I did not ride the boat, fortunately, when I was there. But I was told by a couple of friends of mine that went there, went to the boat in a very rough day. They were very sick because the sea here can be, between the two islands, the sea can be a little hectic sometimes. It's mainly due to the fact that, number one, it's in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Number two, there are very strong winds around here. Not as strong as in the Azores, but very strong nevertheless. And the wind, the swell, picks up pretty easily, especially on this side of the island. So this is like the northern side of the island. The winds pick very fast here. And if the weather is rough here, be sure that it's going to be rough all the way to Port Saint, because it's pretty much the same weather system. Plane's reducing to 250 knots as we cross 10,000 feet. Let's turn on the landing lights for that fact. So I'm pretty happy because we got the RNAV Zulu for runway 05, so everything we set up earlier is confirmed.
All aircraft be advised, information echo now current, QNH 1021.
1021 for the QNH, nothing changed. Although now it's echo. You can actually listen to Madeira 80s for a moment.
Scattered at 1,600. Temperature 23, 2.17. QNH 1021. Landing and departing runway 05. Transition level 050.
Alright.
976 Romeo Lima. Request taxi. Alpine.
Actually, we're on Tracon, right? Yep.
Madeira departure. Air Portugal 3342.
Just in case we don't miss any ATC calls.
Air Portugal 3342 Madeira approach. QNH 1021. Expect the RNAV Zulu runway 05.
So what I did in real life should be unnecessary. If you can monitor any other frequency, no issue. But with beyond ATC, every time you switch frequencies, I should have done that on a Copilot menu. But anytime you switch frequencies, 3,000.
Descend to 3,000 feet. QNH 1021.
So like I was saying, if you're flying with beyond ATC, it's good practice to always announce yourself again if you.
Air Portugal 3342. Cleared direct pinning. Cross pinning at or above 3,000 feet. Cleared RNAV Zulu runway 05.
Alright, we're clear for the approach. We're a bit too high, but nothing we can't recover. As you can see, the lateral deviation is blinking. That means that we are not yet on the RNAV procedure, but we will be in a moment. And we're still a bit too high, in my humble opinion. So, in order to help the plane descend a little fast, I'm going to extend the speed brakes. This will help the plane nose down a little more, have a steeper descent rate without exceeding proper airspeed. Here we go. And now I'm going to retract the speed brakes because I don't want it to be overspeeding there. So now let's prep our plane. This one, our approach checklist. Barrel reference 1021. As we pass the transition altitude in a moment. Seat belts are on. Minimum set 500 AGL. Auto brakes set to medium. Engine mode selector will be normal. Approach checklist complete. So here we go, N021. We'll keep on descending to 3,000 feet as required, but then we'll continue on descending to 2,000 feet as we saw that on the chart for the initial approach altitude. Where's the Zulu one? Alpha and Zulu right here. So it's 2,000 feet until MA 522 right there. And then we'll descend all the way down. It looks too close, right? It's not. Right, let me turn on track IR again, getting ready for the visual approach. This is our nav approach, but we do require some visual cues, such as the infamous rabbit poles. Right, speed check, flaps 1. This plane's now beginning its turn. Speed check, flaps 2. I think we're still a bit too high. Autopilot disconnect.
Air Portugal 3342. Contact Madeira Tower 124.66.
Contact Tower 124.66. Air Portugal 3342. Madeira Tower, Air Portugal 3342. Arnav Zulu runway 05.
Speed check, flaps 3. Gear down.
Portugal 3342. Madeira Tower. Wind 025 at 18. Runway 05.
2,500.
Runway 05 cleared to land. Air Portugal 3342.
Landing checklist. Speed check, flaps full.
2,000.
check. Real low. Flying manual here. Still a little low. Need to catch up. So why am I not getting the approach references? Yeah, alright, there we go. Now we got the approach references. Oh, here we go. There's a rabbit pulse. It's all visual now. Hello, Brav Papa. Welcome. Still a little high. Puppy lights. 1,000 check. Come on.
41 Bravo Quebec, on nav Yankee runway 05.
Still a little high.
Alpine 41 Bravo Quebec, Madeira Tower, continue.
There you go.
Roger, Alpine 41 Bravo Quebec.
100 above. 500. Minimum
Continue. Bit too low.
400.
Something wrong with the runway. Oh, seems good now. Little low on the puppies.
300. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. Retard. 10.
Come on.
5.
Right on the touchdown zone.
Air Portugal 3342. Exit next available taxiway.
Auto brake off.
Exit next available taxiway. Air Portugal 3342. Runway exit procedures. Starting up here. Oh, someone's coming in a hurry. Right. Air Portugal 3342. Request taxi to allocated gate.
All right.
Air Portugal 3342. Ramp Alpha 10 taxi by Alpha.
Ramp 10.
Ramp Alpha 10 via Alpha. Air Portugal 3342.
APU is available. No point in making single engine taxi in. Let's clear the plane. So we're going to Alpha 10. So this is 17, 16, 18, 15, 14. Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday. 13. 12. Hello, Jose. All gang is here. So here's number 12 right here. And I hope GSX also made it. Doesn't look like it made it, does it? There's nothing there, so let's call GSX, because it appears GSX did not assign gate 10 to me. Let's go Menzies, never Portway. Never Portway, remember that. So there's a reason for that. Well, one day I'll explain. Jose knows, why not? Can we get a Gangnam style? That would be great. Go to the right. Alright, let's move forward. Go to the left. To the left. To the left, to the left. Ah, come on. Need to be quicker with those arms, buddy. Lame-o. Yep. Alright, let's shut down our engines. Our APU bleed is on, so let's shut down 1 and 2. Parking brakes on. Got a spoiler warning, nothing serious. Alright, parking checklist. Can we request deboarding by the menu, by the way? Never tried it. Let's see if we got a deboarding via the CDO like we have for boarding. Actually, no. Oh, we could have written here Alpha 10.
Madeira Tower, Air Portugal 93 Lima Papa, RNAV Yankee runway 05.
There goes the boarding requested. Still no. Still no external power.
Clear to land, Air Portugal 93 Lima Papa.
Calling the mechanic here to request external power. Stairs are already coming in. Once more I get this warning. After landing checklist weather. Oh, forgot to turn off the radar. You see, Betsy isn't here. I forget these things. Parking brakes set. Engines are both off. Wing lights are off. They are now. As well as the beacon. And fuel pumps to off. Still waiting for seatbelt signs off. Come on, mechanical. It's gonna be cool to see if GSX aligned properly with the doors. Apparently it did this time. We'll see the passengers coming out in a moment. I just need to perform the rest of the checklist. So oxygen, crew, set to off. Let's give ground control to those guys down there. Emergency lights to off. Electronic flight bags, we'll keep them on. Batteries to off. Bam. Emergency lights to off. Alright, still no external power. What are these guys waiting for? I need to put the plane into secure mode. There it is. Alrighty. APU master switch to off. Right. Welcome to Madeira. There's our passengers deboarding right there. Aeroporto Crisro for the buddies. Ho for the buddies. Ah, kidding. Airport Cristiano Ronaldo. There's this beautiful mug right there. One of the best football players ever. The only sin he ever committed was being from Sporting. Just kidding. I don't care about football. Anyway, welcome to Madeira. It's a beautiful flight. The flight itself was uneventful. Just had that beyond ETC crash leaving Lisbon. Nothing serious. I was able to recover. A fatal crash. Not sure what happened. It looked like it was something internal. The flight itself was completely uneventful. And yeah, Madeira Island is a beautiful place to come, virtually and literally, if you can. Remember that you can win this very plane right here, this Airbus A321 NEO from FS Labs. All you need to do is help me reach 100 subscriptions and come to the chat and tell me why it should be you winning it. That's it from me. Hope you guys enjoyed the flight. It was a shorter flight than usual. I usually make like 2 hours and a half, 3 hour flights. This was an hour 30 something flight. I don't mean like in terms of live stream time. I mean flight time. So guys, thank you very much. Andrew, Mersha, Bravo Papa, Sweet, Bravo Papa, Jose, Airport Wings, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for supporting me. Remember, leave a like, subscribe, and if you care, share with your friends. Also, if you'd like to donate, remember, buy me a coffee. There's a QR code on the upper right screen. If you wish for the link, it's also in the description of this video. I hope to see you guys next time, and hope you guys enjoyed. Bye-bye.
I love to fly up in the sky. Through the clouds I reach so high. Climbing up to touch the light. Adventure calls me day and night. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. The stars above begin to shine, painting trails so bright and fine. Every turn brings something new, endless skies in brilliant blue. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the drum's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soared into the